What is going on, everybody? Today, I just wanted to do a quick trade breakdown on the 50 points that we were able to catch on NQ today. Pretty simple trade setup today, so let's dive right into it. All right, so the first thing I noticed when I came to the chart at 9:30 is that we were trading below this daily high, right? And we were trading above this daily low. Now, since we were trading in between this range, I was kind of a neutral bias, right? Price could have ran for this daily low, or it could have ran for this daily high. Now, going down to the 4 hour, what I noticed is that London had printed a pretty big pullback in price. We had this big spool up. We've obviously been bullish for some time, right? We are in price discovery right now. We are at all-time highs. We had this pullback coming into the 9:30 open, right? And we had price starting to work its way up here on the 4 hour. So moving down to the hourly, what I did notice is that we did have London lows down here. Okay, so we had these London lows. I'm going to mark these out. We had Asia highs. I'm going to mark this out as well. And I'm actually going to put this on replay so we could see where the market was at 9:30. Right, so at 9:30 coming into the market, we have the daily high, we have the London low, and we have this daily low. Also, something to note is that we did trade below the midnight open, right? We traded below the midnight open into this one standard deviation, right? Now, we did leave some low resistance liquidity down here to the downside and these London lows, which was why I was actually leaning a little bit more bearish on the day, right? Because I did want to see price come up into this 1 hour fair value gap, possibly, right? Price come up into this 1 hour fair value gap, tap into this fair value gap, and possibly trade down lower from this level into the London lows, right? So with that, at the open, I'm going to replay this again so we can see, right? I was looking for shorts off the open, but with it being a Monday, I definitely did not want to just short the market blindly in this area, expecting price to come down to this London low. So what I'm expecting, right, every day at 9:30 is for price to move 100 points in either direction from the 9:30 open, right? So if price is going to move 100 points to the upside, right, we're going to see probably this one standard deviation get hit and this daily high get hit, right? Or if I'm expecting 100 points to the downside, I'm expecting this daily low to get hit, this London low to get hit, so on and so forth, right? So with that, I wanted to be pretty patient going into 9:30 since it's a Monday, and I'm kind of having a neutral bias right now. I can obviously see price coming down to these London lows, and I can see price running towards the Asia high and the daily highs since we are overall bullish. So in the first 5 minutes of the open, we can play this along. And I'm kind of giving you my thought process in real time, right? So this was the first 10 minutes. We were starting to close above this hourly fair value gap. Now at this time it is 9:40. So I'm not really sure what price wants to do at this point. Do we want to respect this 5 minute fair value gap and trade higher towards the Asia high and the daily high? Or do we want to respect this midnight open, invert this fair value gap, and start trading for this London low? So I was letting price play out a little bit and see where, where was the logical area that price wanted to move that 100 points off the open. So playing along a few more candles here, you could see that 5 minute fair value gap was starting to get respected and we started to trade higher, right? At this point, I was like, okay, maybe price actually wants to continue higher, but I was still a little unsure because if you look at this wick here, the 9:30 open, we didn't really have much movement to the downside, right? Price didn't come down here before starting to trade higher. So I wasn't super fond of this, right? And at this point, it still is 9:50. We're coming into that macro. We could respect that midnight open there and start trading down, respecting that fair value gap, and then trading down towards the London low. So that was still kind of on the table. And honestly, at this point, I was starting to think my risk to reward wasn't as big, right? So if I wanted to take a long here and I wanted to target up here for 100 points, my stop loss would probably have to be, you know, down here below the NYSE open. And I wasn't really too fond of that quite yet. All right, so moving along a couple more candles, as I said, I was still a neutral bias. Now coming into that 950 candle, you could see the Asia high was taken here. Again, I was still skeptical as to what was going to happen in the next 10 minutes. I was trying to see if price wanted to continue to trade higher or if it wanted to start rolling over as it got closer to that 10 a.m. open. So skipping along here, we are having the 10 a.m. open here. This is where I really started looking for longs here because we did create this fair value gap, right? And price was really starting to hold pretty solid at this point. This candle kind of told me that we did not want to start reversing at that 950 macro and start rolling over towards this London low. So at this point, I definitely started to shift my mindset bullish, and I was looking for a retest of this midnight open and also a retest of this fair value gap to catch that 100 points, right? So measuring out that 100 points from that 930 open, we're looking at probably 24, 9, 10 level. And then skipping along, we had another consolidation candle. So I was really, really looking for price to start pulling back here and trading into this fair value gap. And I wanted to enter 2 contracts here, and I actually mitigated my stop a lot. I did not want to see price trade back into this fair value gap. So my stops were at a very logical level here going into this trade. We actually got the pullback that we wanted. We reached the daily high right there, and we got that pullback, got the entry that we were looking for. And we kind of just like let this trade play out at this point, because at this point, our stop is in a logical area, right? And all we want to see is price move 100 points. So if price is going to move 100 points from the 930 open, all I'm looking at is price to reach up into that 24, 9, 10 level. And that's basically what happened. There wasn't much trade management here. I was thinking about scaling in another contract here, but instead of that, when price broke this high, this is where I just went break even on this trade. And then price just continued to trade higher, right? And it was pretty simple. Not much went into this, just a lot of patience, right? We had to be patient until about 10:05, 10:10, when we saw price was holding very solid above these levels in the first 30 minutes. Price didn't show us that it wanted to reject this daily high, all-time highs, and start rolling over in the first 30 minutes. So I was expecting price to continue to spool into all-time highs here. And obviously I have the executions here on the screen. Let me exit the replay mode so you can see. And you can see I had the 2 contracts right there when we traded into the midnight open and got out at that 100-point mark right here, as you can see. But yeah, that was basically the gist of the trade today. Super simple. Like I said, just a lot of patience and just following my system. If you guys actually want the 3-step system that I trade every single day, you can go ahead and click the link down in my bio. And I also live trade every single day live in my Discord. You can click that down in my bio as well. But yeah, that's going to wrap up the video today, guys. I hope you guys found this insightful and educational, and I'll see you guys next time.